a bit of its loss from the prior day. Treasury yields eased after reports said growth for U.S. services businesses cooled last month. That could keep the Federal Reserve on track to cut interest rates several times this year. Chair Jerome Powell said again that the Fed will cut after getting more confirmation that inflation is heading down. The Dow was down 43 points to finish at 39,127. The Nasdaq gained 37 points, closing at 16,277. And the S&P 500 up 5 points today, finishing at 5,211. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith B.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and cooler for us with the low dipping down to 45. Tomorrow, another great-looking day. More sun than clouds and a high of 64. Much cooler at night with tomorrow's low dropping to 39. We'll continue with night stays and chilly evenings into the weekend. Next week, back into the mid to upper 70s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Please press button now. No, that number's bigger than the one I said.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in. Sports Talk Media Network. Beautiful Wednesday. Windy Wednesday. Windy here in Columbia as this front moves through. They're going to play baseball over at Founders tonight with this wind.
Oh, boy.
And I was trying to equate the wind as I was driving through town and trying to, in my mind, put the wind in at Founders Park, if it was going to be blowing in or blowing across or blowing out. I think it's going to be blowing, just based on the flags that I saw coming through town, I think it's going to be blowing across from left to right. So left-handed hitters, I could be totally wrong. It might be blowing in. But left-handed hitters may have a party tonight at Founders Park, South Carolina, Georgia Southern. It's very windy out there. I think temperature is going to be dropping. Phil Kornblut here in Columbia. That's Chris Bergen from the Berge Palace over in Sardis. And our phone number, 888-898-2525. Busy show for you tonight. We'll hear from Dabo Sweeney here in a little bit. The Tigers, I guess today was kind of like their last big practice of spring before they have their spring game on Saturday. And we'll hear from him, his thoughts on spring practice and getting ready for the spring game Saturday. Also tonight, we will be hearing from Clemson baseball coach Eric Bakich. Matter of fact, at 6:35 tonight live on the show. He'll be joining us coming off the practice field. Number 2 team in the country. Just want to see, in his opinion, if he thinks he has the second best team in the country. Maybe the best team in the country. I wonder how he feels about his group overall. I mean, the record is impressive. They've been getting some big offense up and down their lineup, and their pitching has been very good, Chris. So, I mean, they check most of the boxes, I would say, at this point of the season.
Now, he'll tell us he'll find the warts on his team, as all coaches do, especially in April when you talk about a season that runs into June if you've had a good season. But no, I think I don't know that there's a dominant baseball team around the country. Arkansas certainly looks really, really good. Several of the teams in the SEC, several teams in the ACC look solid. But I don't see a reason Clemson should not be right now the way they're playing, and especially with that offense, I don't see why they shouldn't be deemed as one of the top 4 or 5 programs in the nation right now.
Yeah.
Still, as Jim Tillman pointed out earlier in the week, it's a long, long way to go.
It is. I mean, they are right about the halfway point of the regular season. South Carolina hosting Texas A&M this weekend after they play Georgia Southern tonight. And it's about time for the Gamecocks go on a bit of a run. You know, they've they had their one home series, SEC series with Vanderbilt, where they look very good. 2 SEC road losses where they could have won those series, but they didn't. They came home with losses. Still, the SEC record, thanks to that sweep, is a positive. This is a team that's not swinging the bats like you thought they would. Team batting average of 277. They got a lot of guys up and down that lineup that aren't having stellar years average-wise right now. Really about the only 2 guys who you would say are meeting expectations. Well, I think Dylan Brewer is exceeding expectations. He started off hitting about 530 for the first couple of weeks. He's at 330-something now. And, of course, Petrie is picking up where he left off last year, hitting for power, driving in runs, and a very good batting average. So their offense has, I don't think, been as good. They've left a lot of guys on base. They're hitting with runners in scoring position. By and large, has not been very good so far this season. So we'll see. We'll see if they take care of business tonight. College of Charleston beat this Georgia Southern team handily yesterday. If they can take care of their business tonight and then take on a very good Texas A&M team. I mean, we're going to find out a lot about the Gamecocks over the next 3 weeks because they got Texas A&M, they got Florida on the road, and they got Arkansas at home. So we'll see what the record looks like. If they win those 2 home series and show well down in Gainesville, that'll tell you a lot more about this USC baseball team to this point. So,
well, the interesting thing about them, Phil, is they're Jekyll and Hyde baseball team so far this season, and I think maybe a lot of college baseball teams are if we peeled back the onion a touch. Carolina's 17-1 at home and 3-5 on the road, and then you factor in a 1-1 record in neutral site games. They have not played very well outside of Founders Park, and I've always been fascinated. We don't get a chance really to sort of probe with Jim Toman and his Toman notes on Monday, but I'd like to know. I mean, to me, home field advantage in baseball isn't anywhere close to home court advantage in basketball because the atmosphere is totally different. Same thing for football. So what's the reason? Does that extra, that final at bat, is that big a deal? Because if that's the case, then you've got to like Carolina's chances the next couple of weeks with A&M rolling into town. Then you worry about Florida, but then you get Arkansas coming into town the following weekend. But one other guy you didn't mention that to me has been the biggest surprise for them so far has been Kennedy Jones.
yeah.
I didn't know really what to expect from him when they got him into the program, but he actually leads them in hitting. And another guy I've liked watching play is Blake Jackson for them as well because he brings a speed dynamic to the not just on defense but also offense for them.
Okay, our phone number, excuse me, as you can tell, Chris and I are both still kind of battling coughs here.
I'm going to the doctor Monday, folks. One way or the other, I'm going to find out. Do I have the plague or do I need to just battle through? We will find out on Monday what's going on.
I think I've got this for the rest of my life. I think I'm going to be coughing forever. This thing just will not let go. I've tried. I mean, it's gotten a heck of a lot better. Don't get me wrong, but it's just lingering. But anyway, nobody cares about our ails.
No,
you
you're
know
right.
that. Nobody listens to this show to hear us complain about anything. All they want to be is uplifted, informed, and somewhat entertained. Maybe we can do 2 out of the 3 on any. If we do 2 out of 3 on any given night, I think we've had a good show. You do 2 out of those 3 any given night on a sports talk show that's live, you've kind of done your job. So, phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. We invite your phone calls in. Of course, we've got Final Four coming up this weekend. South Carolina women in action on Friday. Speaking of the South Carolina women, couple of big honors today for a couple of members of the USC women's basketball team for the 4th time in her career and 3rd year in a row. Dawn Staley's been named the Naismith Coach of the Year presented by the Atlanta Tip-Off Club.
No. Boy, that's a shocker.
Well, it is. When you think about it, maybe it is because, look, how many times could Dean Smith have won Coach of the Year with all the great teams? But I believe people, voters or people making these decisions, sometimes they don't give it to you because your team is so good and you did exactly what was expected of you because you have great players and you're an already excellent program. So they give it to somebody. They give it to somebody else who had an unexpected an unexpected good year. If you look at the women's basketball landscape, let's just say, for example, and again, disclaimer, I don't claim to be an expert on women's basketball. I think you probably know that by now, but I'll continue to say that as we talk about it because I don't want to come across as a Johnny-come-lately, here he comes, knows it all about women's basketball. I don't. What I know is what I've seen here the last really couple of weeks. But take the Indiana team, for example, to go as far as they did, or maybe the Oregon State team. I don't know. Who went above and beyond expectations where their coach might have been considered for National Coach of the Year, Maybe Gino even because of the injuries. Think of all the injuries. Think of the lack of depth UConn has, yet he's got his team in the Final Four again.
Fair. And your point about Dean Smith, I think it's very, very fair. But I don't remember in '83 him taking the team that went to the Final Four in '82 and turned it around and took them right back to the Final Four with an entirely new lineup. And that's basically what Dawn Staley has done. And keep in mind, they were not the preseason favorite going into the season. It was LSU. And then I think Iowa, I was trying to pull up the AP preseason women's poll, and I can't find it. But I think the Gamecocks, if memory serves, were 5th or 6th, somewhere in that neighborhood. Top 10 for sure, but I don't think they may not even have been in the top 5. So I don't know that you can't argue that this has been maybe the best coaching job Dawn Staley has done of all the acclaim and accolades that she has gotten, and well-deserved. I mean, taking a team that lost virtually everybody, replenished, and came back, and they may actually be better this year than they were last year. So to me, I thought it was a no-brainer that she's Coach of the Year. I get your point about, expectations, but this was a Gamecock team that I don't think was expected to be quite as good, and certainly not undefeated going into the preseason. So I think it was an easy choice.
All right. Also today, USC center Camila Cardosa was named the WBCA Defensive Player of the Year, the first Gamecock to win the award from that particular organization, and joins Aaliyah Boston as the program's only National Defensive Player of the Year or Players of the Year to this point. Okay, a couple of other quick things. 888-898-2525. By the way, because she won the Naismith Award, Staley gets a $25,000 bonus, increases her bonus total for the season so far to $430,000 in bonus money.
You think players are going to start demanding some of that?
Yeah.
NIL?
Yeah.
Post if I'm player of the year like Caitlin Clark was named today, and again, a no-brainer to me. She's the best player in women's basketball, maybe the best player in college basketball, period. So no big surprise there. Maybe she goes in and says, look, my NIL money doesn't cover me getting these postseason awards. I think I need another $10,000, $15,000 because I was the best player in the country.
Yes, I agree. I think that when negotiations happen with these players and their schools that they're considering, things will be put in there like that. They're going to have agents saying, hey, we want performance incentives.
Yeah,
exactly. We want incentives for going to class. We want incentives for what we do on the court or on the field. That's going to be in there at some point. Along these same lines, the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics put out a statement regarding the NCAA not distributing revenue from the women's basketball tournament. I haven't read this statement, but I just read the headline. Tell us about it.
Basically, it said that the revenue, of course, we know about what CBS kicks back of I think it is $1 billion that they have paid for the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Everybody who gets into the tournament gets money for performing in the NCAA tournament on the men's side, but there's zero revenue going back to the women's programs. That is probably going to change starting next year when ESPN's contract kicks in, and ESPN threw a ton of money at the women's side of the coin and may start seeing it pay dividends for them. But the NCAA, let's see, since a 2021 independent gender equity report commissioned by the NCAA found the NCAA's revenue distribution plan to be inconsistent with the NCAA's stated commitment to gender equity, according to the release. Since that time, I'm assuming since 2021, the NCAA has awarded more than $340 million to conferences and institutions for the tournament success of men's basketball teams over 2 revenue distribution cycles without any change to its discriminatory formula. So basically, the men are making a ton of money off their tournament, and you understand why. CBS has pumped in a bunch of money for it, and so that's where it goes. But now with ESPN opening up another cash opportunity for the ladies. I think they're going to start seeing some benefit. And Phil, you brought up this point yesterday or the day before about Sportico and breaking down how much revenue is actually lost or spent and not, how far in the red women's basketball programs are going. You wonder how much this would actually help change that narrative a little bit if Dawn Staley's team is bringing in, I don't know, 50, 100,000, $1 million, $2 million for playing in the NCAA tournament. And with every win, they get an extra bonus. That might help close that budget gap considerably.
Same thought came into my head. Great minds think alike. It makes sense to me. I can't believe that none of the TV money from the tournament for the women, none of that money's been kicked back to the teams. I do find that kind of hard to believe. Okay, couple of other quick things. Angel Reese announced today that she is moving on to the WNBA draft, ending her illustrious career at LSU. Former USC guard Michael Boynton, former head coach at Oklahoma State, hired as an assistant coach at Michigan. Former Gamecock guard Devin Carter is going to enter the NBA draft, not going to return to Providence. He's a good player. Obviously, Frank Martin and company, they did sign some good players during their time at South Carolina. Did you hear the comments of Dale Earnhardt Jr.? We reposted this on X under his podcast. Yeah, I guess it's a podcast. Basically, he said Richmond is really close to losing their second date. In fact, he believes Richmond will lose their second date. And he came out very, very strongly opposed to racing on Easter. He says it makes it hard to sell walk-up tickets, and they just don't want it. He just believes that NASCAR should not be. He knows there are other sporting events on Easter. He said he himself would never go to a race on Easter Sunday. And he does not believe that NASCAR should be racing on Easter Sunday, and has put Richmond, that racetrack, in a tough spot because that's one of their dates, and it's hard to sell tickets, which is true. Even though I enjoyed the race, it was a Sunday night race, which I think is perfect for NASCAR. Sunday night races, I think, are great. He also said,
as long as you don't have a rain out.
That's true.
You
do run that
risk.
risk.
Problem with a Sunday night race, if you can't get it in, you got to try and run it Monday, and you lose a ton of people and a ton of eyeballs.
He also said problem with Richmond is that they haven't repaved their track, or they haven't put that sealer on the track, which he thinks would make it a much more competitive track than it currently is. But anyway, I thought his thoughts about Richmond, in his opinion, definitely going to lose one of their two dates. I thought that was interesting. Steve Clifford announced today that he is stepping down as the coach of the Hornets. Didn't even know he was the coach at the end of this season.
I'm not sure Hornets fans knew he was the coach.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you put in that job; they're going to lose. I mean, seriously,
It's a disaster.
Who can possibly win? And good news for the College of Charleston and Chris Mack, as Ante Brzovic, help me out. Ante Brzovic, their standout big man, announced he's coming back to Charleston. He's going to not enter the portal, John. He's going to come back and play for Chris Mack there at Charleston. And Virginia Tech hired Marquette's Megan Duffy as their new women's coach. And Appalachian State has given a 6-year contract to Dustin Kearns. Runs through 2030. Won the Sun Belt title this year. Sun Belt Coach of the Year, won 27 games. If I'm not mistaken, Dustin Kearns, he is from South Carolina, right?
He's a Clemson grad, as a matter of fact, and actually cut his teeth as the head coach at PC before going on to Appalachian State, where he's been terrific. They've been really, really good the past couple of years under him. I'm surprised he was not plucked like Pat Kelsey was this season during the coaching transitions, and my guess is Appalachian was thinking the same thing, and so they made it more difficult for him to leave.
Okay, let's get to your phone calls, and then Eric Bakich coming up at the bottom of the hour. Josh Cohen taking your calls and getting you all lined up for us tonight here on Sports Talk. So say hello to Josh when you call in, and he'll be very kind and courteous to you. As we let's go to Josh in Florence. One Josh to another. Josh in Florence. Hello, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
Doing good, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Good to have you.
Quick question, man. I know, obviously, I'm a Clemson fan asking this question. been trying to kind of look at it and figure out what exactly would y'all say that Eric Bakich has done different, so much different than Monty Lee to have success? Is it the recruiting? Is it just the coaching? It seems that we've just been better these last 2 years.
Well, I got to be frank with you. He hasn't done better than Monty Lee. Think about this. They both won the ACC championship in their first year, the tournament championship. They both did that in their first year. They both got to regionals. Monty Lee got to regionals. Eric Bakich got to regionals, hosted a regional. They both hosted regionals. Monty Lee never got to a super. Eric Bakich didn't get to a super last year. So my point is, Monty had great records, couldn't get past the regional round. Eric's having a great year, had a good year last year. He's got to get him to that next step before you can talk about being better. You see what I'm saying? So this year, he might do it this year. This team might be able to take that next step. And then you can say, look at the progress. But still got to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I worded that wrong. It just seems that they're playing better ball overall when I look at it together. But, I mean, it's been a while since we've actually won a super. And I'm wondering if they can, like you said, they can do it this year. Do you think he gets as long as Monty Lee did?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Eric Bakich is in for the long run at Clemson. He's an excellent coach. He has recruited well. He's handled the transfer portal well. Took a bunch of Michigan guys the first couple of years to kind of help stabilize his program. I think he's a solid baseball man. I really do. Chris, what do you think about what you've seen from Clemson under Bakich? I mean, you look at this year's team, as I mentioned, they're hitting the ball well. They're a good defensive team. I think maybe their pitching is a little bit of a surprise, as strong as it's been to this point. They sort of got it all going right now. Heck, they're 25-3. What's there to complain about?
No, there's really not. And I thought your comparison with Monty is spot on. Monty won 44 games his first season, as did Bakich last year. Got to a regional, but couldn't get out of a regional. I don't know that there's much separation between the two right now. And actually, defensively, I think both the Gamecocks and Tigers would like to be a little bit better than they are. Clemson fielding 967, I think it was the last time I checked, and the Gamecocks just over 970. I know the Gamecocks are sitting down towards the bottom of the SEC. That gives you an idea of just how good a fielding league defensively the SEC is. So yeah, I'm not sure, Monty did a whole lot worse job than what Eric Bakich did, but I sort of get Josh's point. It just seems like watching Clemson play last year, the way they got hot down the stretch and the way they've carried that momentum into this season, that they should be a lot better. But yeah, Monty had some really good seasons his first couple of years at Clemson.
Anything else, sir?
Yeah, the whole thing just surprised me, man. As I said, I just Jack Leggett to everything that happened there, and then Monty Lee, and then everything that happened with him, and then Eric Bakich. I'm hoping we're better. Maybe I'm looking at it in orange glasses. I'm hoping we're better and can actually win in the postseason more. But I just, looking at it, I'm not sure the degrees of separation there. I guess all we can do is watch and wait.
That's right. I mean, they go to Notre Dame this weekend. I think the weather's going to be a little tough up there. They'll have to play through that, but that should be a winnable series for them on the road. They're putting themselves in great position. They're 7-2 in the ACC, so they're in great position right now in the league. So I don't see why this team can't continue to win and have a great year, but it all boils, and of course host and be in position. Here's the key. Be a top 8. I think right now they're solidly a top 8, which means they would host a super. And we all know, and thank you for your phone call, we all know the percentages of getting to Omaha go way up if you're hosting a super. No question.
Got to get out of the first round.
That's right.
They just have not been able to do that in forever. And, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a big Clemson baseball fan, too, and he brought up the point about Monty, because he was talking a lot about what Josh was just saying about Eric Bakich and how much better a job has he actually done than Monty Lee. And the one thing he brought up about it, he said, don't forget the COVID year. if it's not for COVID and the pandemic and canceling the majority of the season, we're probably not even having this discussion, because my guess is Monty's still the head coach at Clemson, because he might have gotten that team to a super regional. Remember when the season was stopped? They were like 14-3. I mean, they were having a phenomenal start to the season, and they already won a series in conference play. They were on their way to having a really, really good season, and you wonder if that season had played itself out because the next two didn't go well for Monty, and then he got fired, and here we are with Eric Bakich. But you just wonder how much that COVID season, if it had not occurred, is Eric Bakich even in the discussion at Clemson right now?
Yeah, that COVID season hurt a lot of people. I mean, look, South Carolina was off to a 12-3 start.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mark Kingston thought he had a really good team that year, and he gets snuffed out because of that. They weren't the only one. So, but that's an excellent point. Let's go to Gamecock Larry, see if we can get it done in 1 minute. Gamecock Larry, 60 seconds. Can you get it done?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Josh, Phil, and Chris. I'm not going to talk about the championship game. We got to remember, we got a game with North Carolina State. And Iowa got a game with the old man at Connecticut. Now, let me tell you something else. I heard you talking about Angel Reese. Angel Reese done told another story. So she has done everything she wanted to do in her college basketball 4 years. She is wrong. She never beat the Gamecocks. And she would have really loved to have that. Angel, you are telling a story. Gamecock Larry. Go Gamecocks.
He did it. He did it in 60 seconds.
Yes, he did.
He's getting good, sir. I'm going to bring him in to be a host one night, and I'll go on vacation. Be right back. Eric Bakich.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and cooler for us with the low dipping down to 45. Tomorrow, another great-looking day. More sun than clouds and a high of 64. Much cooler at night with tomorrow's low dropping to 39. We'll continue with night stays and chilly evenings into the weekend. Next week, back in the mid to upper 70s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The world returns to the State Fairgrounds April 6th and 7th for the 29th year of the Columbia International Festival. Experience South Carolina's cultural diversity. Explore 100 national exhibits. Taste foods from around the world. And shop at an international bazaar. Enjoy cultural performances, fashion shows, and a parade of nations. This year highlights the Caribbean. For more information, visit CIFonline.org.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting the bodies of 6 foreign aid workers killed in Israeli airstrikes have started the journey back to their home countries. They were transported Wednesday out of the Gaza Strip and into Egypt. That's according to Egyptian state television. The 3 British citizens, a Polish citizen, an Australian, and a Canadian-American The rebels in Yemen may be running through their supplies of drone swarms and anti-ship ballistic missiles as the pace of their attacks has slowed a bit. Consistent U.S. retaliatory strikes on the Iran-backed militia group have clearly affected their behavior in a number of attacks. More details at srnnews.com.
When you've got the gem of the Midlands, Lake Murray, at your disposal, Marine 360 has been your local home for the nicest crest and sea hunt boats since 2007. Brandon, Scott, and their team, well, they offer expertise, incredible customer service, and a tremendous selection of new and pre-owned boats. Crest is the industry standard. They've been building boats since 1956, the oldest and one of the most respected pontoon builders anywhere. Sea Hunt is built right here in Columbia, the #1 selling center console in its class for 19 straight years. Look, Marine 360 is on the lake. It's a great place when you need Need your boat serviced? They're authorized service experts for Yamaha, Mercury, and Suzuki. I know Brandon and Scott. These are good guys. They're local, and they'll be there from start to finish. They can get you into the best boat that fits your dreams and your budget. Take a look online, marine360sc.com, or better yet, give them a call, 749-2360. Go visit the showroom, see their awesome selection, hit the water for a demonstration. If you belong on the water, you belong in a Marine 360 boat.
If you spend as much time in your outdoor living space as I do, you should make that time truly enjoyable with new patio furniture and a new grill from Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio. We offer a huge selection of high-quality, unique, brand-name patio sets, pieces, and accessories. Our top-of-the-line grills include Big Green Egg, Weber, and Traeger. It's all in stock and online at affordable prices at Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio, Forest Drive and JackOliverPools.com.
Great things don't happen all at once. Big dreams take time. And when it comes to saving for college, it's those small steps that make a difference. I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 5-9 college savings plan, is designed to be taken step by step. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. So why wait? Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Hello, I'm Congressman Ralph Norman. Friends, our nation is over $34 trillion in debt, according to the United States Treasury, and every month we continue to add to that mountain of debt. This is one of the most important issues of our time, and I firmly believe our nation is at risk of economic collapse if our elected leaders continue down this path and refuse to reduce spending. I'm making the tough votes in Congress to back up my words, and I invite you to learn more about this on my website, norman.house.gov.
As we celebrate 10 fantastic years at Sweet Comfort Services, we're cooling you off with unbeatable deals on all SEER 2 and high-efficiency AC equipment. Hey Point family, mention this ad and get a thorough spring maintenance check from our expert non-commissioned techs for just $95 for your first system and a chill $45 each additional system. Look us up at sweethvac.com or call us at 331-8143. Celebrating a decade of keeping you cool and comfy. That's the Sweet Comfort promise.
She is the track too tough to take.
The lady in black. She's got a thing for tradition, a hankering for history, and she sure likes a good challenge. Well, when Throwback Weekend comes to town, she'll get exactly what she wants and play extra hard to get.
These guys are going to have their hands full.
Shall we dance? The official Throwback Weekend of NASCAR, May 10th through the 12th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Josh Cohen. Josh and I here in Columbia. Bergie at the Bergie Palace. Over there in Sardis, bottom of the 11th, the Yankees have taken a 6-4 lead over the Diamondbacks. Yay! San Diego leads St. Louis, middle of the 8th, 3-2. Kansas City 1-0 over Baltimore. Bottom of the 2nd, of course, Braves rained out today in Chicago against the White Sox. Boston beat, was that this afternoon? No, that was last night. I'm sorry. So we'll stop it right there because now it's time to talk some Clemson baseball here on Sports Talk as we welcome to the program once again head coach of those second-ranked Clemson Tigers, sporting a record of 25-3. Welcoming Coach Eric Bakich to the program, and on behalf of Clemson fans everywhere, Coach, my question is, why have you lost 3 games? Well, welcome in.
Hey,
how are you, sir?
I'm good, Phil. Thanks for having me, as always. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to have you with us, and congrats on the start. 25-3. That's right at the halfway mark. That's 28 games in, 28 to go in the regular season. You've lost 3 games. I mean, can you keep up that pace?
Well, I mean, there's no need to pat ourselves on the back anytime. Not right now. It's head down time. Keep moving forward and keep getting better. We haven't done anything yet, Phil, and you and every college baseball fan and Clemson fan knows that. We will be judged whether this season was a success or not based on what happens in June, and we know that, and we are good with that.
Yeah. but you're positioning yourself very well. I mean, obviously the key is to be strong in June, host a regional, win that, and then host a super regional, and that puts you in a great position. But you get a long ways to go before you get there. But what do you like most about this team through the midway point of the season?
I like the kids. They're fun to be around. They are low maintenance, high production. They just, any coach that doesn't have to coach attitude and effort, that just has a group that's very self-motivated and disciplined, is a joy to be around. So I feel fortunate. I know our staff does, just to be a part of a special group, and it certainly feels like a special group.
You look at some of your numbers, team-wise, batting average about 294, hit a bunch of home runs already, 51 home runs. Did you expect this team to hit the long ball the way it has to this point, or is this about right on schedule for what you thought this team might be able to do?
Honestly, it seems like a lot, compared to other years, but it's actually middle of the pack in the conference, and it's probably average with some of the better teams out there, just because college baseball is so old now. This being the last year of that COVID bonus year, most of the good teams, you see a lot of players that are just older and more physical and stronger, and so the long ball is just it's a more prevalent part of our game more than it's been in years past.
The defense, we were talking about this earlier, just looking at the percentage, 967, 34 errors to this point. Is that a area of concern for you, or is that just a reflection of some minor things that have happened in particular games, and you're really a better fielding team than that number would represent?
It was a big concern early. I mean, we were not taking care of the baseball early. We've been playing very good defense the last few weeks. Much better brand of baseball, ball security, taking care of the ball, communicating on the field, making not only the routine plays but the web gem plays. So that number has steadily climbed from where it was as the season has progressed. So we are trending in the right direction, but that was a major area of concern at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm. Clemson head baseball coach Eric Bakich with us here tonight on Sports Talk. Tigers travel to Notre Dame this weekend. We'll talk more about the ACC in a couple of moments. Coach, you brought up a fascinating point with Phil a couple of moments ago about how good a start you're off to this year, and how you won't be judged until June, and late June in particular. Is that fair? Because what we watched this during basketball season, and the be-all, end-all is the NCAA tournament. Has baseball gotten to that point? I think back, your rivals, South Carolina, had a team one year that won 56 games and didn't make the College World Series. That was viewed as a disappointment. If you win 50-some-odd games this year and maybe don't make it to Omaha, shouldn't that be celebrated and not viewed as a bad year?
Well, I mean, yeah, among the coaching circles and certain fans, but yeah, no, it's just it's the high stakes, bright lights world we live in at the top of the food chain of college sports, and that's what we sign up for, and that's we knowingly enter into that. But you just gotta love that, and that's why we put the target on other things like total development of them as people, so that in the hopefully the rare instances where there isn't a national championship or a trip to Omaha, that there's still a lot of growth that takes place, or at least like last year we have something to remember the season by, like an ACC championship. But it's okay that that's how it is. I think that's how it is with all elite teams, is that you build a monster, and then you got to feed the monster. You got to feed the beast every year, and just expectations growing is part of having a great program year over year. So we're way good with that. We're happy with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We expect that our fans, if we want 10,000 people, we want to build our stadium to have 10,000 fans, and that's the type of program that we need to build, and that's the consistency that we need to maintain in order to continue to grow Clemson baseball. So
I want to follow up to that. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so, yeah, we'll be judged in June, but we're doing everything we're doing right now so that we earn the opportunity to get hot in June. Every coach wants to get hot at the right time, but you got to earn it. It just doesn't magically happen. So everything that we've been doing since day one in August is for that opportunity to earn the right to get hot when it counts.
Eric Backage with us for a few moments here tonight on Sports Talk. And Coach, you talked about feeding the beast. Was there a light bulb moment that went off for Blake Wright about 3 weeks ago when he started just swinging the bats amazingly well? He's jumped to the lead in your team's both home runs and RBIs, and what he's done here the past couple of weeks has been nothing short of phenomenal, especially with the bases loaded. Was there a situation where it finally clicked for him, or have you guys seen this coming, and we're now seeing it as fans, sort of the fruits of his off-season works?
He's an incredibly hard worker, and he had an opportunity to sign in the draft last year and chose to come back as a senior, and so he's just devoted to his body and his craft and his hitting as anyone. So to see him get the experience the fruits of his labor is great, and it's part of it is not just the added strength and the added bat speed and the added power, but the plate discipline as well. His plate decisions are very good, and where in the past he may have swung at pitchers' pitches early in the count, when he is selective to pitches that he can smash, he does a lot of damage, and we saw that week where he had 21 RBIs and a bunch of homers and just had a monster week, and really was the reason why we were able to have success against a great team like Florida State with Blake leading the charge and carrying the torch for us offensively.
You mentioned a couple of minutes ago about hoping to, get to a stadium of 10,000 seats. Are you guys in the works, possibly looking at expansion of Doug Kingsmore Stadium down the road?
Absolutely, yeah. We're 100% want to do that. But we've got to create the demand, and so for us, it's about having a program that's very consistent, but also that returns itself not only to a place that the program was in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s where Coach Leggett had it, but also to take that next step and do something the program hasn't done. And so we know there's a whole nother standard deviation of growth from attracting more people to come in here and watch the Clemson Tigers play, but we've got to do our part on the field first, and we know that.
Visiting with Clemson coach Eric Backage for a couple of more minutes here on Sports Talk. Tigers going to be heading up to Notre Dame. And so, again, just looking at your lineup top to bottom, and most guys are swinging the bat pretty well. I know Will Taylor's had some moments for you, but the average is obviously not where you'd like it to be. What do you see with him batting .224 right now? Something that he can adjust to improve the average, or what do you see with him moving forward here second half of the season?
Well, what if I told you, Phil, that he's hitting .482?
I would say I'm looking at the wrong numbers.
That's what I'm telling you. You're looking at the wrong number because his on base percentage is .482, which is elite, and really we have a run scoring offense. I know everyone likes to look at batting average, and it's an important stat, but it's really not when it comes to creating team offense.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at Will Taylor's slugging percentage of .474 and on-base percentage of .482, that puts him at an OPS in the high 960s or 950s, which is really, really good, elite category. So he is actually a great offensive player, even if his batting average isn't reflective of it. The dude gets on base and scores runs, and he was the unlucky recipient of some hard contact early right at people, but he has been getting on base, and that is one of the main reasons why he is such a threat.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about now. 29 walks, been hit 9 times, so that's 38 more times on base, whether it's a single or some other way, he's getting on base. Excellent point. We expect that from the head coach to have the excellent point. What's the weather look like for this weekend in South Bend? What are you guys expecting up there?
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be feels like in the 20s. just how we like it.
Spoken like a Michigan man.
Yeah. Do you have to in any way when you step into that cold weather? And of course, some of your guys are used to it. You're used to it, but I mean, here it is. It's April, and guys down here don't expect it. Do you have to do anything differently with your guys as far as psychologically, or wear gloves, or just anything like that when you step into cold temperature to play up there?
I think the biggest adjustment is just your mindset, and just understanding you're walking into something that there's going to be no excuses made for cold temperatures, and you're not going to let it negatively affect how you feel. And your body may be cold and yet may be uncomfortable, but that's one thing with all of our training and everything we've done from day one. We are, most people's outside of their comfort zone is our comfort zone. And it's where we like to be, and it's why we're able to respond from the adversity that we have every single game, it seems like, when we get down or something happens. And so we're certainly not going to let something we can't control, like the weather, change our mindset from the execution that needs to take place at a high level in order to have a success against a good team like Notre Dame.
Well, you're in the midst of what is a 7-game road trip, 3 in Miami, then over in Greenville, then 3 at Notre Dame. Then you're home for, it looks like, 4 or 5, about 9 in a row. So you got a nice homestand coming up. What's up with the makeup date with South Carolina? Y'all getting anywhere close to being able to figure out a date to make up that rained-out game?
I think so. I think the administrations are working on it, and I haven't really been in the loop on that, but I think I did hear there should be an announcement coming soon. So hopefully we'll know here soon enough.
All right.
If we can get it done.
We thank you as always. Have a good trip up to South Bend. Good luck to you guys. We'll talk to you again soon. Really appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Eric Bakich. How good has Eric Bakich been at Clemson to this point in his career? Counting last night's win with the Tigers, he is, I just had to hear, he is 44 and 25. What's 44 and 25? That would be 69 and 22 in his time at Clemson. Not a bad start.
How much were you sweating when he came back at you and said, "Hey, you've got the wrong numbers"?
Hey, man.
I thought that was hysterical.
I don't sweat. There's not a interview subject out there who can make me sweat, because I'm looking at the numbers.
I know. I was thinking, what are you reading, Phil? He's not batting that well.
I was going to blame Brian Hennessy. But no, I see where he's going now.
No doubt. No doubt. That's what coaches look at.
He was looking down a few more columns to the right than I was. Be right back.
Relax with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. Here at Founders, we understand that it's more than just a vehicle. It's a part of your life's journey. From hobbies changing to families growing, it's with you along the way. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your life. Not sure what you want? Apply early for a pre-approved spending limit so you know what to look for before you start shopping. Head over to one of our 41 convenient office locations or visit foundersfcu.com to apply for an auto loan today. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
She is the track to tuck the tape.
The lady in black. She's got a thing for tradition, a hankering for history, and she sure likes a good challenge. Well, when Throwback Weekend comes to town, she'll get exactly what she wants and play extra hard to get.
These guys are going to have their hands full.
Shall we dance? The official Throwback Weekend of NASCAR, May 10th through the 12th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Thanks again to Eric Bakich for being with us tonight. So, an announcement on the makeup date for South Carolina Clemson, he said, should be coming out pretty soon. So, it sounds like they've got a date worked out. The administration's working on this. They have a date ready to go. That's the way I took that. So,
I agree.
Hopefully, we'll have something on that soon.
It just loses a little bit, doesn't it? Because the way the series is set up, you're not going to be able to get frontline pitching for whenever they play, because they're not going to play on a weekend now. So you're not going to salvage and sacrifice one of your Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday guys to throw in a midweek game, regardless of who it is. So I was so glad when they went away from the games during the midweek to a weekend series, and you just hate the weather interrupted the first opportunity where we could have seen really, really good pitching on that Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hear from Dabo Sweeney after the top of the hour, but he told the media after today's practice, a lot of guys are going to be out for the spring game. Paul Tyson not going to play. Trent Pearman's going to play for both teams, rotate in every third series for both teams. And Gary Peters, oh no, what am I doing? Gary, honorary coaches, Gary Peters, DJ Reader, Sammy Watkins. I was going to say these guys are out. Jaden Lucas is out. Cole Turner is out. Walker Parks won't play. Ronan O'Connell won't play. Tyler Brown is out, had foot surgery. Troy Stellato, shoulder, not going to play. Jay
Kind of know about
Haynes.
Stellato, didn't we?
Yeah. Jay Haynes won't play. Peter Woods has mono. Oh, he's going to lose
That's
some
not
weight.
anything to mess around with.
No, not good. Vic Burley's out. Ricardo Jones is also out. So got a bunch of guys who are going to be out for the game on Saturday. Which, you know what? I wonder how long it's going to be before we just do away with these spring games. And if you want to do something, do what the NFL's doing. Just have like a skills competition or skills exhibition for the fans on a given Saturday.
You say that, and I would agree with you. But Dabo actually said today that part of the reason he likes the spring game, or at least he wants the big-time atmosphere, because this is basically the only opportunity his team will get a chance to play in the stadium in front of fans before the season begins.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's always been an advocate, and I agree with him 100%. There ought to be a way for them to have some sort of fall scrimmage with another team before the season begins. And you wonder if when we get to collective bargaining about NIL and transfers and everything else, maybe that will be part of it for football. But yeah, he said that is probably, I would imagine, not putting words in his mouth, but that he may look at that as the biggest value of a spring game, having fans come out and they get an opportunity to play in front of fans. He was also asked about the ACC lawsuit and did a terrific job of handing that off to President Clements and also Graham Neth, the athletic director. He even gave fake email addresses for both of them if you want to ask that question.
Did he really? That's
Yeah,
great.
he did.
That's great. We'll hear from him coming up after the top of the hour. Let's go to Hank in Columbia. As we go to Hank, by the way, reminded me that I haven't checked on this, but our Sports Talk Bracket Challenge, as we go into the Final Four, our leader is Luke at Me Now. Luke at Me Now. He's at 99.9%.
Wow.
But his champion pick was Marquette, so he's going to miss on that. But he's tied. No, he's got the lead, 99.9%. Behind him is Burbinde's picks. Burbinde. He's at 99.8. What do you mean about the picks? 940
The points.
Yeah.
The points. That's where you have to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Because that could change this weekend.
Well, Burbinde's picks, he's at 890 points. I see. 940 for Look at Me Now. Now is 940. Burbinde's picks is at 890, but he's got Wisconsin, so he's going to miss out there. ESPN Fan 5714 is at 880, but he's got UConn winning it. So he's got a shot there.
Yes, he does.
Edie's referee crew, he's at 860. He named himself after Edie, but he picked Connecticut. Go Pal 81, he's at 840. He's got UConn. So we got 4 in a row there who have UConn as their picks. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Look at Me Now, though, is hanging in there as the leader. As for me, I did terrible. 560 points. I'm in the 44.9% range. Terrible. Or as Charles would say, terrible.
Terrible.
How about you? Did you find you?
Yeah, we're talking about brackets. I think I'm inside the top 20, I believe.
Oh.
And then I also have another one that's maybe dead last. That was my coin flips.
I only put one in there.
I'm in 55th.
Yeah, I did too.
You're in 55th?
Yeah.
And you're proud of that?
Not really.
Yeah. My rank is 159 in our group. Ugh, that's awful. I'm used to dominating this thing. I'm used to winning. Not a good tournament.
Let's see. I got 760 points, and I still have my national champion, Connecticut, available. So,
ooh. Where's Smitty? Have you seen Smitty anywhere in there?
I don't know what Smitty was using as his.
I think he just uses Smitty. he doesn't try to hide. I think he just goes by Smitty. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting there 26th. I'm tied for 26.
I have a 26. I'm 159. You're 55. I think I'm going to finish last amongst us, which would be a complete and total embarrassment on my part. Complete and total embarrassment. Okay. Well, we didn't get to the phone calls before the top. We'll take some more after the top and hear from Dabo Swinney. It's an SC Wild night tonight. Major Downer is going to be talking about turkey season, so you want to stay tuned for that at 7:30. We'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Maryland Governor Wes Moore says the challenges are great to reopening Baltimore Harbor in the wake of the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Moore says he has 4 objectives moving forward.
First, we need to give closure to these families. Second, we need to clear the channel and open vessel traffic to the port. Third, we need to take care of our people, all the people who have been affected by this crisis. And fourth, we need to and we will rebuild the Key Bridge.
Authorities believe 6 of the workers plunged to their deaths in the bridge collapse, including 2 whose bodies were recovered last week. 2 others survived. The ship which collided with the bridge remains stationary, its 21 crew members still aboard. Prosecutors in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case are chiding the judge over an order. Correspondent Julie Walker has more on that story.
The prosecutors are trying to warn her off potential jury instructions they say rest on a fundamentally flawed legal premise. The filing from special counsel Jack Smith's team came in response to an unusual order from U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon that ordered prosecutors to file proposed jury instructions that appeared to accept Trump's argument he's entitled under the Presidential Records Act to retain the sensitive documents he's now charged with possessing. Smith's team says the premise is wrong. I'm Julie Walker.
A mixed day on Wall Street as the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 43 points, but the Nasdaq rose 37. The S&P 500 index advanced 5. Oil up 47 cents to $85.62 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
This is Dennis Prager, and now a truly exciting new benefit. My monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. For an hour each month, get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. I'll be answering your questions. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at Pragertopia.com. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
GOP Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas is warning against a U.S. intervention in Haiti.
In an op-ed on Fox News, Cotton says those now calling for U.S. intervention simply aren't paying attention to recent history.
America's intervened there repeatedly for the last 100 years.
And never accomplishing any lasting change, Cotton says. He believes the only U.S. intervention should be to rescue U.S. citizens stranded in Haiti or to protect the U.S. from an influx of Haitian refugees.
But under no circumstances should we be putting American forces into Haiti simply to try to stabilize the situation.
Senator Cotton was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. Bob Agnew reporting.
Prosecutors say they've charged one of the most prominent figures in the far-right Alternative for Germany party with a second count of uttering a Nazi slogan at a political event. Björn Höcke was already scheduled to go on trial. News and analysis available at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and cooler for us with the low dipping down to 45. Tomorrow, another great-looking day. More sun than clouds and a high of 64. Much cooler at night with tomorrow's low dropping to 39. We'll continue with night stays and chilly evenings into the weekend. Next week, back into the mid to upper 70s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Ooh, I like when you press that one.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back. Hour number 2 of Sports Talk on this Wednesday night. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, Josh Cohen, 888-898-2525. Dabo Sweeney coming up in just a moment, but Hank in Columbia has been holding. Let's go to him next, as promised here on the program. Hank, welcome in. Sports Talk, how are you?
12.3 million, Phil.
That is what?
You asked the question last night.
Oh, the viewership?
The game. It was 12.3 million. It was the most viewed basketball game on ESPN since the Game 7 of the Celtics, when the Celtics played the Cavaliers in the Game 7 of the finals back in 2017-18.
Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I mean, they said it was going to be. They said there'd be a lot of people watching. I think there's a lot of people passing by, watching, tuning in, betting. I want to see.
Don't discount it.
I'm not discounting it, but you know what? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. You can't tell me. You just can't tell me that all of a sudden all these millions of people around America just have fallen in love with women's basketball. Okay, I understand.
Come on.
No. Let me talk. Let me talk for a second. No, let me talk for a second. Let me talk for a second. I'll let you talk. Let me just finish. You're interrupting my train of thought. That is, I just can't believe that all of a sudden these millions of people have discovered women's basketball and just have fallen head over heels with it. I mean, it's got to be, maybe it's the big names here this year, or maybe it's the gambling aspect of it. I mean, I know I'm not denying its growth. Okay, it's growth. I give you that, but I can't. What's the reason? You're going to tell me they're going to go from 0 to 90 this quickly, just because it's women's basketball? All of a sudden, everybody's got to watch it. Everybody's got to stop and watch it. I don't get it.
It's not even about.
I don't get it.
It's not even about that. Well, Corn, first of all, they had 12.3 million. The UConn Southern Cal game had a viewership of 6.7 million. The South Carolina Oregon State had a 3.1 million viewership, and the least of the games are the most unknown teams. Texas and NC State had 2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's you kind of sound like Corn. You sound like when years ago, and Teddy, I'll say this because Teddy knows I'll say it. He's always admitted he was wrong about this. He said, I don't care if South Carolina or a women's basketball team rose to number 2. You'd never get more than 3,000 people at a game.
Mm.
And now if you go on, Corn, if you go on the Ticketmaster website, tickets, and they did a story of this on ABC.
I saw it.
Tickets are going for half the price for the men's game as the women's game. You I mean, it's not. I mean,
all right. So what's the explanation? It's not a better product. It can't be. It's not a better product. Is it just because? Well, it's not a better product. It's not a better product. It's not a better product. Is it because it's women doing it? Is it because? No, you think it's a better product? Do you think it's a better product?
No, Corn, it's not about. It's not about you. This is the thing. You can say they don't play better. They don't play basketball better than the men. That's one thing you could say, and I think that's where you could say that and say, okay, that's it. They don't play better basketball than the men. The product is where you get viewership from. It's better because the players stay for 4 years. So you get storylines that go from year to year. If South Carolina were to win Friday night and I were to win Friday night, the next big game would be all about the matchup from last year with a lot of the same, South Carolina's got different characters, but I would have a lot of the same characters.
I get that.
And so
I get
right
that.
now you can't.
That's enough to attract an additional 10 million viewers?
But then, the game is, lately, I mean, Corn, come on. The game for the women. The game for the women has been more fundamental the last 5 to 6 years than the men. The men has been about dribble, drive, get to the basket, dunk, or shoot the three. They've totally taken out the 15-footer. So I'm not going to say that men playing basketball are not better than the women. Yeah, that's there. But the overall product is drawing people because you have good competition and you got storylines and you have people where you can actually recite who's on the team. Right now, you wouldn't be able to recite half of these men's teams right now because half of them have played for 4 different teams.
I do not disagree with that. But
and who's the star in the men's game right now?
Who is the single star in the men's game?
I didn't go pro.
Well, I mean, Edey would be the guy up at Purdue, right?
But is he the face? Is he more the face of the program right now? The people are following than trying to figure out what the next crazy thing Angel Reese was going to do, or what the next crazy thing.
I will say that the men's game seems to lack the storylines of the women's game across the board to this point.
Star power.
Yeah, maybe across the board.
College basketball's had that issue.
Thank you.
Men's basketball's had that issue for years because of the one and done off to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Connecticut. I defy you to name me more than 2 kids off that team. And that's the best team in the country, and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But and you could probably ask women's basketball fans who are diehards like Hank outside of our state, say, all right, name me, other than Camila Cardoso, name me 2 other players off the South Carolina women's team. And they probably couldn't do it. And the reason is they are much like the UConn men. They are a team, not led by superstars.
The one thing I will say, though, Chris, about that deal is South Carolina as a unit, the girls have played so well that the team is well known, and they're going to add some because Joyce Edwards, our little old Joyce Edwards from Camden, was the co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game last night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Listen, and they're going to have the big girl who's sitting out this year with the knee injury. They're going to have her stepping in. So yeah, we got to go, Hank. They got players. They got players. I still say, and I say this for all TV numbers, I think they're greatly inflated because of the betting aspect. It's got to be. It's got to be the gambling. All of a sudden, for all TV sports, everybody's reporting record numbers. Why? It's because you got a lot of people now putting money on the games. Betting is so easy. You can go across the state line in North Carolina now and bet on games legally. Can't do it here yet, but you can do it there and many other places around the country, or you can go offshore and do it.
I will say
that's got to be why so many more eyeballs are on these games.
And I think actually on the women's side, the betting's not as big a deal. You have tons of people tuning in because all they've heard for the last 3 weeks is Caitlin Clark. And I'll be fascinated to see. These numbers won't transition over to next year, I don't believe. They will have solid numbers, but they won't be record numbers like this because Caitlin Clark will not be involved. And Caitlin Clark is the face of women's college basketball right now. When she steps into the WNBA, she may be the face of the pro league.
Okay, let's go to football. Clemson spring game coming up Saturday. What's left of the Tiger squad will go on the field for whoever knows. I guess they're going to try and play 4 quarters, et cetera, et cetera. They got head coaches. They're going to have rosters and play a semi-organized game. Of course, Sweeney will be on the field coaching. Other coaches will be on the field coaching. And there'll be some things that aren't natural to a regular game, as you well know, with these spring games. Anyway, just a little while ago, Dabo Sweeney talked to the media at Clemson to give his preview of the spring game and I guess some thoughts on the way spring has gone to this point. Here you go.
Okay, well, day 14, so, this is our last, we saved this day, last day in shorts, day where we get a little bit of work done, cleaning up some things from our last scrimmage, but also, we take some time on this day to try to prepare them for what the expectations are in the summer. When they get into skills and drills, because there are certain periods we can get on the field with them in the summer, but we can't do anything competitive and or nothing against anybody. It just has to all be individual and on air. So the leadership will kind of take charge of the skills and drills. So we kind of spend some time, take part of practice to really coach them on, what that looks like, what the expectations are. And so that's always a part of this day. And then we split the team. And everybody's you gotta have some time to make sure everybody's organized, because now you're not one team, you're 2 teams. And so we got the orange team and the white team. Coach Goodwin and Coach Riley will be the 2 head coaches, and got everybody split up. So, let's pick a side and pack the valley, right? That's what we've been talking about. And I will say this to our fans, man, I really hope they'll show up and we'll have a great crowd. And it's free, but it is a very meaningful opportunity for us as a program. And our fans always show up, but I just, this team in particular, we got 16 mid-years, and this is the only opportunity we have. There's no preseason for us. There's no exhibition games. There's no jamborees. There's no scrimmages against other teams. This is the only true opportunity that we have to create a game feel. And for a lot of these mid-years, this is a big moment, because, the next time they actually play, it's going to be, the scoreboard's going to be lit up. And so this is a great opportunity to try to, hopefully create that game feeling for some of these guys. And then we got some guys that are getting a lot more opportunity as your team changes every year and you start over. So it's going to be a great day. I think it's going to be maybe 60 or something, a little cooler early, and beautiful sunshine day. So hopefully we'll have a great crowd. We got a lot of recruits coming, a lot of families. So man, let's pack that thing and let's make it a great day. And I think it'll be a very competitive day. But really proud of the guys and our staff. I think we've had a good spring. We want to finish well, and we want to create good momentum into the next phase of our year and our journey. It's what we call transformation, and so that starts right away. We'll start all of our exit meetings Monday. That'll probably take me 3 or 4 weeks to get through all the meetings with the players, and certainly the position coaches will meet with their group. And so a lot of information that we will discuss and talk about, and make sure we're all on the same page on what everybody needs to do to come back not pick up where we left off, but to be ahead. That's what transformation's about. And everybody being committed to coming back, and wherever they are in our program, just being the best that we've seen them. And if everybody does that, then hey, you got a chance to get off to a great start. So we got a lot of work done, and I think big picture wise, leadership, chemistry, confidence, getting some evaluation on some guys that we need to evaluate in competitive environment. We've been able to do a lot of that, and we're still not a complete team. We've obviously had some guys that have had some surgeries and things like that have been in and out of camp. We've got some more guys coming in June before we're truly a complete team. But it's good to be able to wrap it up this weekend, and then we've got that's one of the reasons we try to go early. We don't like to finish too late in April because we get out early. They're May 1 is the week of finals, and if they have finals, sometimes they don't have finals, or they do them early or whatever. But so it gives us a good 3 weeks of really good training, strength conditioning, creating momentum into the summer, which is the most critical time. And so as opposed to going later and having a little longer winter, this is, you get more time to get some guys back. Obviously, we've done a couple of cleanup type surgeries, and we time those to where we know the guys will be ready to go once we get started in the summer. So team wise, like what I've seen, and same thing with our staff. I think our staff has got good chemistry, and we've gotten done what we needed to get done. And you always wish you had a little more time. You hate it when it's coming to an end, but they're going to be a fun day on Saturday, and then we'll take the next step.
So usually the coordinator percent, the offense or the defense, and out there, head coaches. How do you divide that up with play calls?
Yeah, we've done it differently over the years. I prefer to split the team and split the staff because I think it's good for your staff development too. But sometimes, like last year, for example, obviously you got a change in coordinator, so Garrett kind of went back and forth. But we'll split it up this year, completely split it up, and we'll have we got enough staff to where everybody, and then we got some injured players will be coaches as well, and got some honorary coaches coming back. We got Gary Peters, big GP, who's still playing. He's still playing up. I think he might be the best DB up in Canada. He's playing. DJ Reader's coming back. He's going to be one of our honorary coaches, and hopefully Sammy Watkins is going to be back as well. So he's still trying to work it out, but I'm really, really excited about the day. But yeah, Garrett will call it for one side. Kyle will call it for the other side. Wes will call it from one side. Mickey will call it. So we got plenty of coaches, but it's a good opportunity. We split up Nick and Chris. So everybody's got a good feel for it on how we want to do it. And there might be a couple of players that have to flip both ways. For example, like Trent Pierman, we got 3 quarterbacks. So Trent will probably Paul's practiced all spring, but we're not going to play him in the scrimmage. But he'll be a coach on the other side. But Trent will probably get. I think we settled on maybe every third series for both teams. So he'll kind of go back and forth. So he gets the work that he needs, and all 3 quarterbacks will get the reps. So it'll be a good day.
I guess who were some of the other injured players that you think that would be starters that are not?
Oh man, I don't have my sheet in front of me. Well, you got Jay Lou, has been out all spring. He's doing great, but we had to do the surgery on him beforehand, so he'd be ready for the summer. We got we got a pretty good healthy list. Cole's not going to be able to play. Adam's back. Cole's not quite ready. He's a lot better. He's kind of got a strained ab, but he's not quite ready. So, he had a really good start to spring, a very good first scrimmage, and strained his ab. So he's not quite ready to go. I'm just thinking offensively. Walker Parks is back, but he's not going to scrimmage. So he's been able to get second half of spring here. He's been able to get most all the team stuff and individual stuff. Same thing with Ronan O'Connell, young freshman. He's coming off the surgery from high school, but he's been able to get out there and get some individual stuff. He won't be able to go. receiver-wise, Tyler Brown is not going to play. He had the foot surgery. He's doing great. He's got an individual. He's running routes, but not released to go play. Stellato had a really good, he got 10 or 11 practices in, and that was by design, because he's really never had a spring or a fall camp for that matter. So it was important, we thought, for him to get the work. So then we just went ahead and cleaned up his shoulder, so he'll be ready to go for summer and have a full summer as well. Everybody else offensively, Jay Haynes is not going to be able to go. He's a lot better, but he's still recovering from a hamstring. Who am I missing? You got the injury part. That's offensive guys. Defensively, Peter Woods is got mono, so they're not going to let him play. He looks great. He feels great, but when you have mono, you got there's a time period, I guess, with your spleen maybe or something. So you got to be smart with that. So he's not going to be able to go. Burley's out. He's battling a hamstring. Anybody else you want to ask me about? Strozier's back. Excited to have it. Corey and Gibson is who's been out all spring. He's coming off an ACL from his high school. He looks great. He's doing all the individual and team stuff, but he can't play, but he is back in practice, so that's been good progression for him. But Strozier's good to go. Venables is out there. Trying to think who else. Ricardo had a good spring. He had a little bit of a fracture in his foot, which they think was there for a while as well. So they fixed that. So he's out for the game. And so that's about it. Should have brought my injury report in here. Y'all challenged me off the top of my head here. I think all the backers are good as far as injury goes. I think that's it. Noble, that's one I forgot. Noble's been out all spring. He's not cleared yet. He's better. He's getting better, but he's not been able to practice all spring.
Clemson University sued the ACC. I was wondering, do you have any comment on the lawsuit?
No. Obviously, I appreciate your question. No, that's going to be a question to come, but man, that's so far out of my lane. That's PresidentClements.com and GrahamNeff.com. Or at AOL.com, however you want to get in touch with them, at Clemson.edu. They can answer all them questions. I'm just trying to, we got a season. That's all I'm focused on.
Or as Danny Ford once said, ain't got no comment, got a lawsuit against me. That's great. AOL.com. Is that where Dabo lives? He lives in the AOL
Evidently
world?
so, yeah. He may be the only one that still has an AOL account.
He's got the little telephone line dial up to his computer. Beep, 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 as it connects. Quick recruiting report coming up. Then SC Wild with Major Billy Downer coming up on Sports Talk. Be back in a moment. We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30 plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. Helping an aging loved one arrange for their care can be one of the most difficult things you will ever do. Fortunately, you don't have to navigate this maze alone. Lawyer Lisa's knowledgeable life care team can lead you down the right path. Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In
fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
George Bryant here for Tsunami Bar Sports, and some say the fun is in the winning. I say the fun is in the training. And Tsunami Robbie, what do you say?
George, we all know you get more done when you're having fun. This technology is different, it's engaging, but it's also a lot of fun to use.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any Tsunami Bar order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today. All right, got to move quickly to the recruiting report tonight. It's brought to you by Seawells. Of course, we want you to get out to Seawells for that daily luncheon buffet. Go out there and tell them Sports Talk sent you. Highly recommended, 11 to 2 for only $14.50. Got a roast beef Friday coming up and a big day tomorrow. And for catering, SeawellsCateringSC.com. 803-771-7385 is the number. Checked in on linebacker Tavion Wallace out of Jessup, Georgia. He's got South Carolina in his final 12. Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, Auburn, LSU, Florida State, Tennessee, Louisville, Georgia, Michigan, and Missouri. Really like South Carolina. And he is really impressed with Shane Beamer, linebackers coach Clayton White, building a strong relationship with those guys. Going to come back to South Carolina for an official visit. That is going to be taking place in June. In fact, they get the last official that he has scheduled right now. He's coming off a visit to Georgia last weekend. Going to go to LSU. Also went to LSU in early March. Going to go to Florida and Florida State coming up. And official visits, Arkansas May 31st, Georgia June 7th, Florida State June 14th, and USC June 21st. Clemson target offensive tackle Hardy Watts was offered by Virginia Tech. And Clemson basketball had contact with Oklahoma transfer 6'9" John Hughley, per the portal report. And Presbyterian guard Marquise Barnett is in the transfer portal, John. Don't forget to check recruiting on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, on X. Use the hashtag STRecruiting. SC Wild coming up.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and cooler for us with the low dipping down to 45. Tomorrow, another great-looking day. More sun than clouds and a high of 64. Much cooler at night with tomorrow's low dropping to 39. We'll continue with night stays and chilly evenings into the weekend. Next week, back into the mid to upper 70s. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting the most powerful earthquake to rock Taiwan in a quarter century killed 9 people, stranded dozens of workers at quarries, and sent some residents scrambling out the windows of damaged buildings. The quake during Wednesday morning's rush hour also injured more than 1,000 people. More severe weather is barreling across the U.S. A major spring storm is expected to start dropping more than a foot of snow in parts of New England on Wednesday night, while heavy rains are soaking the East Coast. Meanwhile, cleanup work continues in several states racked Tuesday by tornadoes and other intense weather that was blamed for at least 2 deaths. The National Weather Service issued a winter storm warning for several states in New England, with parts of New Hampshire and Maine seeing the highest amounts. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 43 points. This is SRN News.
I've gone from being the skeptic to now emphatically endorsing the idea of solar power for your home or business. But make no mistake, my skepticism was legit because there's only one solar company I've come to believe in. That's Broker Solar. They're local. They're in Lexington. They're not door knockers and high-pressure salespeople. So what about those questions? Broker Solar answered them. How much does it cost? Who gets tax credits? Why should I get a solar battery in addition to solar panels? What type of warranty comes with such an important investment? Ken, Matt, and the team changed my skepticism to confidence. I've been to their job sites, and I am in awe of how the technology has evolved. I'm so impressed with the workmanship from Broker Solar. I've talked to their customers. It all makes so much sense now. Oh, and listen, these politicians, the media's attempt to guilt you with green this and save the planet that, that's not why you want solar power. You want it because it really will save you money. It really gives you control of your power bill instead of the power companies. Hey, find out more online at brokersolar.com or just give them a call. 807-7417. That's 807-7417.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
I sure like to brag about good local businesses. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is a great local biz. Josh and his team stress customer service as their top priority. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning came out to my house. I had a toilet that wasn't working right, a garbage disposal that died. They came out right on time, told me everything they were going to do, and explained the price of each repair before even bringing in the tools. I knew exactly what I was getting and exactly what it would cost. Their prices are fair. Their team is courteous and professional. Plus, they did a great job fixing what needed fixing in my home. I am very careful about making any recommendations, and I'm thrilled and confident to suggest you call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning for any plumbing needs. If it's a repair or to replace something, if it's that tankless water heater that you've always wanted to give you that endless hot water and save you some money, they unclog drain and sewer lines and so much more. Online, you'll find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or just give Josh and those great folks a phone call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222, and tell them you heard about them from here at The Point.
Now on Sports Talk, it's SC Wild with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer is here to take your questions about the great outdoors in South Carolina. Give him a call at 888-898-2525. It's SC Wild from DNR on the Sports Talk Radio Network.
Always great to have Major Downer with us wherever he happens to be around the state. If you have a comment or question for him related to anything about the outdoors in South Carolina, maybe it's something procedural, maybe it's something to do with your interactions with DNR, you have a question about that or a comment, he is the man to reach out to. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. Major, welcome in, sir. It's good to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me tonight. I am remote, so no good speaker system tonight. Like you've got me with my nice remote studio.
Yeah, that's okay. Wherever you happen to be, it's where you plant your feet. That's where you grow, as Dabo Sweeney would say. That's plant right, your feet and grow. Where are you tonight?
So I am in Surfside Beach.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you down there working or a little vacation time?
This is off time, yes. Little vacation time.
What does
the
major like to do when he's on vacation?
It's a little early to be out on the beach and enjoy the water right now, and we had a little rain today, so just a little time outside, just enjoying time outside and breathing for a minute.
There you go.
But I'm going to be enjoying turkey season this weekend, and that is what we are continuing with tonight. Is we talked a lot about where our turkey season may be headed, but I wanted to remind folks tonight kind of where we are in turkey season, because April 1st, the rest of the state opened up. For the remainder portion of the state, game zones 1, 2, 3, and 4 are now open for turkey season. So that's a big deal across the state of South Carolina. Interestingly enough, I want to talk about kind of where our turkey numbers are right now. Before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about our season. So the second portion of the season for game zone 1 and 2 opened up April 1st and will go through May the 10th. Our game zones 3 and 4 opened up March 22nd and will end April 30th. At the end of this month, the folks in the upper part of the state, game zone 1 and 2, will be able to continue through May the 10th. Again, everything, including WMA, our wildlife management area, public lands is now open statewide as of April 1st as well. So a couple things just tonight. Looking at numbers, it's interesting. If you have not already, you can go to your Go Outdoors SC app on your phone, and there's a way to look up where we are as far as in the state right now as numbers. It's kind of up-to-date reporting. Interestingly enough, right now we're at 3,500 birds taken in the state as of today, which is pretty interesting. When you go look at that, it's neat information to look at, real time, basically, as people report. Interestingly enough, what do you think the top county in the state is for turkeys right now?
Top county in the state for turkeys having been taken right now?
And remember, the lower part of the state would have been open longer, so that's obviously a hint. Where's the number one county in the state right now?
Well,
there's actually a tie. There's actually a tie.
You're leading me to think Horry County.
Not that far, nope.
Well,
but they are up there. They are like number 3, number 4 actually, but surprised me. The top county in the state is home to the Black River.
Florence?
What county would that be?
Florence?
Florence is number 3. Close.
Home with the Black River now. I mean, when you say
the
home,
very rural county.
When you say a river has a home, is that where it begins or is that where it flows through?
No, it flows through, and the county seat is named for the King's Tree.
Williamsburg County?
That's correct. Williamsburg County is the number 1 top right now, and tied with Williamsburg is Orangeburg County.
Interesting.
So, interestingly, right now, Horry County is right there in the top 4 as far as turkeys taken so far. Remember, I was talking to Jay Cantrell today, our assistant big game project coordinator, and the total take for turkeys during the season-wide, from March 22nd through May 10th, because you got a combination of game zones 3 and 4 through April 30th. Game zones 1 and 2 goes through May 10th, is generally around 10,000 reported birds. And that's been steadily going down a little bit, which is one of the concerns about the population we talked about the last show. So 3,500 birds right now at this point in the season, about two weeks in, you're at about a third of what's going to be taken so far. So that also says to me more backing for that. Everybody doesn't always take the birds at the first of the season. A lot of people take birds toward the end of the season, which is interesting to see that kind of play out in real time to look at these numbers. So that, remember, your Go Outdoors app's pretty cool. Go Outdoors SC, you can look at those things on there by looking at the hunter's backpack on your app, and you can look at it by county, you can look at it by statewide, you can look at it by daily, what's happened today. It's pretty cool. Because remember, we are now requiring you to report electronically your birds. Not only do you get a physical tag, when you buy your tags, $5 for turkey tags, you get 3. When you tag a bird, you're also supposed to report it electronically through the Go Outdoors SC app, which allows for this kind of real-time reporting, which is really neat. I guess I'm a little geeky that way. I like to see the numbers. It's kind of cool to see where we are at this point in the season. But interestingly enough, there's where our counties lie out. But Bill, one of the things too, we talk about turkey season and we haven't talked about the rules this year. And I kind of want to go over those again so folks don't forget. So many different, so many changes. I was talking to someone today about turkey loads. And, everybody used to shoot with a 12 gauge, get that extended tube choke, extended tube on the gun, the choke on the gun, tighten that thing up, get that turkey choke, and they pattern their gun. And, paying $20 for, turkey shells was a lot. Well, now you got 410s, which is a very small shotgun with the red dot sights on it, and people really getting into using a 410, shooting out 50 to 75 yards, buying, 5 shells that cost $50. It's crazy to the degree that we've gotten. But, to each his own, and everybody can choose their load. You got stack loads, which have different size. That's been out for a long time, but different size shot in them, whether it be 4s and 6s mixed together. But again, remember the one thing you cannot use is buckshot for turkeys. You can't have buckshot in your possession. You can have turkey loads, and turkey loads can mix size of the shot like 4s and 6s, but they have to be a turkey load. Again, not like waterfowl, not like migratory birds. There's no requirement for them to be non-toxic shot, but it does have to be a turkey-style load. So, just interesting when you go through the rules and regulations on that. Again, you have to have a big game license. Remember, turkeys are a big game bird. They're a big game species along with deer, black bear, and the wild turkey. So, Phil, I think you got a call. You said coming in, so let's go to the call real quick.
You got it, indeed. Steve in Augusta, welcome into SC Wild. Major Billy Downer is here to take your question. Fire away. No buckshot.
Yeah.
This is turkey season. No buckshot, but fire away.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Hey, a couple weeks ago we were talking about the reproductive situation with the coyotes and the wild hogs or feral hogs. And I wanted to ask, I know if anybody knows, Major Down would know, but I wanted to ask for a clarification. I was told that if you harvest a sow who has a litter, that one of their survival instincts is that that litter would take up with another sow that was also still nursing, and that was another reason that keeping that population in control was very difficult, because that litter would just pick up with another sow.
So that's a good point, and absolutely, hogs, if you will, have a survivability rate that's incredible. The fact that they can have 10 in a litter, and they can have a litter up to 3 times a year in itself makes it, it shows you just how almost not impossible, but how difficult it is to control a population. But to your point, sometimes people have problems with hearing that someone's killing a baby pig, so to speak. The problem is that piglet is going to become a big pig. And it's just as imperative to take them as it is to take the larger sows, because you're right, they can take up with another sow and they can survive. If that happens, again, so it's one of those perils of feral swine in this state that we and almost, I don't know how many states of the union are dealing with feral hogs, but it's a lot. Probably at least half of our 48 states are dealing with feral swine as far as a problem. And it's amazing how far it's spread.
Are they also hurting the turkey population?
So remember, where swine hurts a population, they will eat a nest if they find it. Yes, they will eat the nest. That's the issue. They're not going to eat the turkey, the hen, because she's going to leave. But they will eat the eggs. They're going to eat anything they can get their mouth on, pretty much like that. But they will do that.
Yeah, that was the point of my question. Well, thank you again. Enjoy your program.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you. One of the great things I took away, as much as I like to think I know, Phil, I learn something constantly, and Jay taught me something the last show that I want to bring up again. You know, when you think about it, a turkey laying a nest on the ground, first of all the things they got to go against them to lay those eggs to hatch them, 28-day, you know, as far as incubation period, when they start laying, you know, they're sitting laying one egg a day. They're laying a clutch of 10 eggs, 12 eggs, whatever. That takes, you know, almost 2 weeks to lay, one a day. Then they start incubating, sitting on them, like 28 days now. So now you get 38, 40 days worth of time invested. If you make it to that point and hatch those eggs off, as soon as they hatch, that bird, that chick, that poult, it's got 2 weeks before it can get in the tree and get off the ground. And everything is after it. You know, hogs could eat the nest. Raccoons could eat the nest. Snakes can eat eggs. When they hatch, you know, vultures can come down. All these things can happen that can eat them. Basically, everything out there wants to eat them as a baby. And they got to survive 14 days to be able to fly up to a tree and get off the ground to kind of really give them a good start moving forward there. It's incredible that they're able to survive and reproduce. So it's no wonder that we see the struggles that we've seen in the last, 5-10 years of, as Jay and them call it, recruitment in the turkey world. So just remember that those birds are having to struggle against a lot. So the things we're looking at are the things like Jay said very well last time, put it very well. It's the one thing we can do. So why not try to do the things we can to help them? But yes, and his question about hogs are one of those things that eat. And when they eat, that's a problem. Because if they eat the eggs, they're eating the turkey. And the turkey's not going to become a turkey if it gets the egg eaten. So, but back to our rules and regulations for a minute, if I can. Looking at the rules for turkeys, again, no buckshot. We talked about that. As far as plugs, there's no plug required. It's not a migratory bird. So that's not an issue. But you got to have that big game permit. So I was talking about that before we went to the question. So turkeys are one of our big game birds. So not only do you have to have a hunting license, you have to have a big game permit. Now, if you buy a combination hunting and fishing license for $25, that includes your that includes your hunting license, your big game permit, and your fishing license. You're good. You're covered. It's just having that big game permit that people sometimes don't think about. But just keep that in mind. So big game, they're big game permit. Tags. We've now changed that in the last 3-4 years. It's $5 for your tags. You get 3 tags. So it's $5 for tags. So again, licensing wise, you must have tags in your possession. You have to have big game permit, hunting license, and those things. As far as what can you have, hunting wise, it's shotgun, not rifle. You can use a bow. You can use a crossbow for turkeys as well. I've never been good enough at taking turkeys that I want to go to a bow. I got friends that do it, but I'm still not good enough. It's still challenging enough for me with shotgun, so I'm sticking with a shotgun for now.
What makes it?
But we were talking about
real quick, taking a turkey with a bow. Obviously,
oh my gosh,
hard to do.
First of all,
or with an arrow, not the bow with the arrow. Yeah.
A turkey has got incredible vision. They can see all colors. That's a big thing. They can see color. So that's why camouflage is so important. Again, they live their life on the ground. Everything's trying to come at them, so they can see so well. The thing that archery hunters have figured out is that blind. If you get in a pop-up blind, whatever reason it is, that pop-up blind, it kind of flips that switch in that turkey's head and he don't see it. But that allows you to move. But still, you've got to move. You've got to draw, get your anchor point, release that arrow. All that movement allows a chance opportunity for that turkey to see you. And you got to have them, unless you're really good at bow, most time 30 yards. So you're getting a bird really in close. Again, they can see you better. They can hear things, all those things. So archery is very challenging. I applaud everyone that does that. Incredible for you to do that. I still use the shotgun. But again, back to shotguns, the loads now have gotten so crazy. People improving the different loads that are out there. But the 410, to think that someone's using a 410 now with a red dot sight to shoot turkeys and you've got it patterned down to where it's almost like shooting, a shot pattern that's really only about maybe 4 inches round, literally, in the air. That shot pattern is so tight with that 410, which allows you to get distance out there to 50, 60, and I've heard of 75 yards. It's just really, that's different. It's a new thing, but a lot of people taking it up, getting these 410s, single barrels, pumps, even automatics, but the single barrels with the red dot sights, really getting into the specialty type hunting with a smaller caliber, as far as a 410, which is actually a caliber of a smaller gauge shotgun.
All right, let me jump in. Got another caller for you. Ched in Ched in Saluda. You are on SC Wild with Major Billy Downer. Fire away your question.
Hey, Ched, how you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Just wondering about armadillos. Are they considered a nest predator? Do they eat eggs?
That is a great question. I do not think they are. I'm going to have to check on that. But I don't know that they're a nest predator. I know that they dig and they're eating other things. I think we always assume that they eat ants because we want to put them with anteaters, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they eat eggs or not, but I will find out in the next show. I will bring the answer back. That's a great question.
I would appreciate that. I know they could be a major detriment if they are.
Well, they're a major detriment, period, by just digging the holes in the fields. I've got several farmer friends that have run into these armadillo holes, and they are terrible on tractor tires. Believe it or not.
I believe nest predators are our main problem with turkeys right now.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And that's what I was saying. There's so many things, snakes, ants, even ants, that can cause damage to small poults when they're wet and they hatch. But in the nest, raccoons, skunks, possums, all our nest predators are very good at it. Foxes, they're good at it too. And snakes, and a variety of snakes. Rat snakes are very prevalent in this state, and very avid avid nest predators. So again, it's a miracle that we hatch turkeys, and then it's a miracle they make it the next 2 weeks to get to the tree. To where they can get away from them. But I will ask the question about armadillos. I am not sure about the answer on that. But I'll find out. It's a great question.
Thank you, sir.
Where do we find?
Sir.
Thank you. Where are armadillos prevalent in the state, or are they just spread throughout the state?
So they came into the state, I remember in the 90s, early 90s, first armadillo I saw was in Aiken County. I think they came across basically the Savannah River. They can swim, believe it or not. And showed up in Aiken County in the lower part of the state. They have spread across the state now. They're everywhere. They are listed along with in our nuisance program where you can shoot at night. The night hunting program, you can shoot hogs, coyotes, and armadillos. They're all three listed on the night hunting program where you can do the night hunting registration and shoot with a rifle so you can shoot armadillos. That's how big a problem they are, is that we actually have listed them on our night hunting registration. So they are a serious problem, no doubt.
Let me also want to mention real quick, I sent you this link to the state newspaper story, but they've spotted a couple of alligators living in the Columbia Canal there off the Congaree River. Yeah. Is that weird or not?
Where was that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Alligators.
Oh, yeah.
In the Columbia Canal there off the Congaree.
Right. All right, so let me say this. Alligators are prevalent anywhere there's water. If there's water, they can live in it. Whether it be a sewage treatment pond or a settling pond or a construction pond on the corner, where they do these wetland ponds on the edge of construction sites. Alligators will go anywhere there's water. They go there. That's not odd at all. I do have sort of an answer about the armadillos. So I do want to say this. I'm going to check this and verify, but apparently Texas has done some studies, and armadillos will eat eggs without digging the nest. So apparently they do eat eggs, and I'm going to follow up on that and see if they're considered one of our, if that's a real deal here in South Carolina. So but they do eat eggs. Looking that up. Google will verify that, though. We'll Google verify that for the next show for sure.
All right. Very good.
But that pretty much for tonight. Just again reminding folks, turkey season's in full swing. Turkey's being taken right now. Remember, as far as turkeys, the only turkey you can shoot is a male turkey, which has a beard, the bearded bird. Male turkeys have a beard that comes out of their breast, that comes out, and a juvenile bird, less than 2 years old, we call it Jake, has typically a 4-inch beard, a little short beard. It may stick straight out, maybe 2 inches long. But what we call a swinger, the 8, 10-inch birds, or 12, if you get lucky enough to find an 11, 12-inch bird, those are birds that are at least 2.5, 3 years old. Now, I can tell you that as far as beard length, it's genetics. It's not necessarily age that makes that beard long. Also, whether or not they've been feeding around fire, which birds will like to feed around when people are doing burning. Their seasonal burns, turkeys like to feed in front of the fire so they can burn their the ends of their beard. They can get mites, little bugs that actually eat the beard, and you'll see beard rot where mites have eaten it. So there's different reasons why the beards are different lengths. But again, if you haven't turkey hunted, I encourage you to try it. Again, good luck to those that are turkey hunting. Next show, we'll verify about armadillos again and just verify where we are. We'll do a second look at where we are in the turkey season.
That sounds great, Major. Enjoy what little bit of time you got down there at the beach, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you as always. The great Major Billy Downer. I just elevated him to great status. The great Major Billy Downer with us here on Sports Talk from down at the beach. Hope he's enjoying himself. Great stuff on the turkey season. Learned a lot. Did not know about the armadillo issue. That's the thing. I love the question that Chad had, too, or brought up, that the holes that the armadillos dig can do damage to the tractor tires as they're going through the farmlands. You don't think about those things. That's the animals fighting back against man and machine. Think about that. South Carolina is down to Georgia Southern, top of the third, 5-0. Grand slam for Georgia Southern. And before Chris left, he was telling me that there appeared to be some perhaps injury issue situations going on with the Gamecocks, who now gone to their third pitcher. SQ has come in for good after Copper started. Okay, we'll have that covered for you tonight on the website. Otherwise, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.